Okay.
Well, you know, the grief world is really in a tizzy these days. And the tizzy is all about the new DSM 5, which is the Bible for therapists. And what do they want to do there? They want to call grief prolonged grief disorder. In other words, you're not grieving, you're sick. It's a problem.
That's a problem. Welcome to Grief and Loss Today. I'm Donna Brandenburg.
And I'm Andrea Harris.
And we're talking about a very controversial subject today.
Yes. I approached Dr. Alan Wolfelt with this. What do you think, doctor? And he just shot out an article to me that we put in one of our issues of Advances in Bereavement. What is going on is that they have been studying grief. And what they're saying is that if it lasts more than a couple of months, a few months, then it's a disorder. In other words, that you're sick. So people who work with grieving people are up in arms about this because we know that. I know we have microwaves, we take pills for every little thing. We want to get done with things fast, but grief doesn't go on anybody's schedule. And because you've been grieving for a while, doesn't mean you are sick.
Okay. Well, let's explore this even some more then. The broad implications of this are a little disturbing.
Yes, they are. And yet there really is a pro and con on this too. Because for hospices, for example, or therapists, if you're helping someone through a time of grief, there's no diagnosis for that. So how do you charge an insurance company for the work that you're doing with that person? You can't. You have to have a diagnosis. And so a lot of people have been grieving people have been hung with diagnoses such as depression, when really they're just normally grieving. But they needed some guidance, they needed some help through it. And so you've got that side of it that's kind of pushing it along. Hey, we can charge for this now. And hey, therapists have to make a living. And so you have that side of it. On the other side of it, we don't want grieving people to think that they're sick. They're not sick. They're just hurting. And it's a hurt that happens to everyone. Every single human being has times of grief. Now, one thing is that there comes a point for a few people where they get stuck in their grief and they truly get clinically depressed or are having difficulties that they truly need therapy to get themselves out of it. They need that support. And so that's another aspect of this. How do we charge for giving that support? How do we assess whether they're at that point and they need that support? So it's really gotten the grief and loss world topsy-turvy. What do we do?
It's a kind of a complex problem because it has to do. There's many sides of it. There's the payment side of it, but then there's also the broad implications of telling somebody that they have a disease that, like you said, not everything that we do can be categorized. It's just part of the human experience.
That's right. That's right, and it can't. In my book, it can't be. It's the way we roll when we are grieving. It's what happens, and it's normal. And I spent a whole career telling people, no, you're not crazy. You're normal. This is what grieving people can hear the voice of the deceased sometimes. They can even see him out of the corner of their eye. I can't tell you how many times I saw my mother in the grocery store, because she was on my mind. I wasn't crazy. Other people aren't crazy. It's the way what grief does to us.
And grief has many different ways to present based on the individual.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we have an article here that we're introducing called Prolonged Grief Disorder, Pathology, or Prudence. If you would like to click down on it, I believe it's underneath this video. And we have many resources here for you to also explore on this topic of how to, for a professional, how to really categorize or to help bring this issue to the forefront. We're here to help you grieve, help others around you.